All right, family, and we're back. We're going to be going over title of Jet Kwon Do by Bruce Lee, his words and thoughts. Matter of fact, I might as well go in and put up some pictures of Bruce Lee while we're going over this. So we can be looking at. All right, let me see if I can get this on here right. All right, cool. So we got him up here. This is Bruce Lee. If you don't know, you're too young to know who Bruce Lee was. My mom introduced me to Bruce Lee when I was about 5 or 6. And after I seen this man in action, shoot, that wasn't nothing else to say. I seen the frequency. You've seen everything about him right there on the screen. And I'm like, man, he was showing me the things I'm like, is this physically possible to do? And I was finding out, the more I was finding out about Bruce Lee, that it was physically possible to be done. So I began to practice without him teaching me those things that I seen him doing on the screen. Like the shaking, and I didn't know I was channeling in my chi. And I started at a young age. I do it every now and then, that 1-inch punch, and it shocks me sometimes. I know I was walking into a bathroom one day, and I don't like to touch the door because a lot of men don't wash their hands when they come out the bathroom. They just go up in there, do their thing, and come out, or they do their thing and then they wash their hands. Man, you didn't touch the door, then you touch the other door to get up in there. Might touch the commode, then you pulling out your genitals, whatever, and then you touching that, and then you turn around, touch the door again, then you touching the faucet, then you washing your hand. You didn't did totally opposite. I ain't touching nothing. I'm using my elbow or my the back of my hand or whatever. That's not gonna be touching me. Then I wash my hand as I go in. And then I ain't touching no doors. I'm using elbows or whatever. I use a foot. And then I touch myself. And then I flush it with my foot if I had to. And if it got a button on it, I press it with the tip of my shoe. Or it's going to flush itself. But I'm not touching it. That's for sure. You know what I'm talking about? So let's get into it. Last we left off at is understand. It's on page 19. When I see number 19, I see Sister Tynette out all the time. When I see 19 in that white, and sisters in white dresses. Okay, but before we get started, I want to drink a little coffee and things of that nature. And I'm gonna see if I can pull up my songs. Y'all listen to. Oh, I took that off. Figure out how to flip it right out the room. Okay, we on there. This one is Go Hard 3.0 because this is like the third time I'm writing this. Rewriting this song. But here we go.
So technically day trading is putting in an order or trading the financial markets during the day. What I do in the bond futures market from a day trading perspective is essentially coming to the market with zero positions and leaving the market on a daily basis with zero positions.
Go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard. me. I don't need none of these fleas around me. All I need is your government around me. Bring me up where the real men around me. I won't this one step when you're on me. I feel lonely, like I'm the only one in my family. Breaking through these chains free, Satan don't want me to breathe. Take these edges off of me. I need an angel on my side, though I can feel the breeze. What Satan gonna do? Cause I'ma do me, and in the end we can see who the best of the league. Best league, let's see. These hypocrites ain't got a chance going against me. Exactly, you ain't even seeing me. I'm in the background on the truth that you see. That's G-O-D-I-N.
It's different where you're actually trading the subtle movements of the markets, the subtle up and down movements of the market, and you're trading the derivatives of the stock market or the stock market.
Go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard. They think they gonna waste my time chasing on behind. But between love and hate is a thin line. I got the shield with the merciful straight getting mine. Ain't got no time for the wickedness on my grind. Gonna chill with the fruit, but we all know me. Steady dealing with this craziness on the page tree. Don't know my history, you don't know me. Don't let it see a real little G-O-G. Don't even care where I'm at, long as I'm a team. I can show these next C's what they never thought I'd see. They steady all mine, then they gotta watch a lead. Show the world how to be free from my saying be spontaneous. Every step we won't agree. Never see a man read, then watch some TV. Gain that knowledge, maybe they'll see me. Got a living color, full of new breed. Ain't no mystery. Guys on the planet E-A-R-T-H-S-N-D. Every creature on the planet is in need of all bodies like water, air just to breathe. G-O-D, I am.
The things I was reading about in the book that he was reading was not what we, was the type of lifestyle that we was living. You know what I'm saying? So in order to kind of get away what we were actually experiencing in real life, like I took to these books and I took to the stories of Wall Street and I took to the stories of, the stock market.
All right, so that was my song, Go Hard. It was already written. I don't know when I wrote it. I don't know when I wrote it, but it's sometime within the last 15 years. I've written so much, but I wasn't able to put it all down because at some points I wasn't even close to a studio. That's another story. So let's get back over here to Bruce Lee. Let's see if this is doing this. I'm about to, excuse me, get it back over to Bruce. Okay, we're back on Bruce here. And on this one, he says, understand the freedom from the conformity of styles. Understand the freedom from the conformity of styles. Free yourself by observing closely what you normally practice. Do not condemn or approve, merely observe. And this is all on awareness, is without choice, without demand, without anxiety. In that state of mind, there is perception. That's what I'm saying, being in the mind of God. Understand the freedom from the conformity of styles. When you not conform to do a certain style to get a certain result, and you it's almost like dancing. Dancing and Kung Fu is almost like entwined with me from my experience. Because when you free yourself up from choreography, I said choreographed, dancing and feel the music, you're able to create a new style, and it's a style created with freedom. Even with skating, you got And especially if you know the sound, the song. You know, you got the woo, may be a long woo, woo, then make pick up and you able to flow with it. You ain't going, even when they do choreography even go off of that. But if you can do that freely with the beat, you can come up with styles and that's coming from your heart, from your feelings, your emotions, your passion, and people will be able to see it. It's you and not someone else. Understand the freedom from the conformity of styles. Free yourself by observing closely what you normally practice. Do not condemn, because even when you make mistakes, I've made mistakes in dancing, in skating, and even in fights. But then you learn from mistakes, because mistakes, it really, you learning from it. And like in skating and dancing, I done failed a few times, and I did a push up, and I pushed myself up and did some more moves, playing it off. But even though I had messed up, I really had failed. I really had failed now. I played it off and put it into a form of dancing. People didn't even notice it. I even had failed backwards on toward my butt. Well, when I fell backwards, I kicked one of my foot up as if it was a move, and I caught myself from falling on my butt and kicked and did some moves with it, and they didn't even notice that was a fall. So that's some of the things I'm getting out of that. Now, let's go to the next one. When you are influenced, when you die to the conditioning of classical responses, then you will know awareness and see things totally fresh, totally new. It's almost like learning sometime, relearning things. You say you can't dog new tricks. Well, if the dog always was learning new tricks, how can you not treat him? Teach him new tricks. You never stop learning. But they ain't tell you that part. When you are uninfluenced, when you die to the conditioning of classical responses, then you will know awareness and see things totally fresh, totally new. Okay? Awareness is without choice, without demand, without anxiety. In that state of mind, there is perception. Perception alone will resolve all our problems. Awareness is without choice. You're not choosing. You're not taking a side. Without demand. Without anxiety. This is being in the mind state of God. Rising above emotion into the thinking of God. In that state of mind, there is perception. Perception alone will resolve all our problems. Understanding requires not just a moment of perception. Let's look up perception. What is perception? Perception is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses, the state of being or process of becoming aware of something through the senses, similar to discernment, appreciation, recognition, realization, cognizance, a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something, a mental impression, initiative, understanding, and insight. The neurophysiology processes, including memory, by which an organism becomes aware of and interprets external stimuli. That's on the psychological zoology level. Perception. Awareness is without choice, without demand, without anxiety. In that state of mind, there is perception. Perception alone will resolve all our problems. Being able to see alone will resolve all our problems. Being able to hear will resolve all our problems. Okay, let's go to the next one. Understanding requires not just a moment of perception, but a continuous awareness, a continuous state of inquiring without conclusion, being consistent, past, present, future. Understanding requires not just a moment of perception for that moment, but consistently, but a continuous awareness, a continuous state of inquiring without conclusion. That almost sounds like brothers and sisters on Mars, how they live with nature in that mind state of letting things just be, and they are. But that's another story. Let's go to the next one. To understand comeback, one must approach it in a very simple and direct manner. Man, I know when my cousin passed away, he's passed away a long time ago, and I found out this year. And I was laying in his bedroom, in his bed, that all his belongings are in. I slept in it that night, and he had came to me and he said, because I guess he knew I was thinking about, but he said, keep it simplified, keep it simple. And then I'm looking at this. It says, to understand comeback, one must approach it in a very simple and direct manner. To understand comeback, you don't want to be all complicated when it comes to comeback. You don't want to make it complicated for individuals with you in comeback. You know how you be on the call of duty and you got 4 on the team and 3 over here and 1 way over there by himself, and then you get killed and everybody trying to collect them guns and and materials and bombs and stuff. We got to go over here, save this food, or one go over here and save this food, and he may come up dead. Or we go over there because this fool went over there by himself, not communicating or keeping it simple and making it complicated, and we all get killed. But as far as I'm concerned, when you got 4 on the team, you should have one as a sniper that stays up on top of the mountain. You should have one that collects the bombs, as far as for the smoke. He more of the bomb man, and the one to get them from like mid range. Then you have the one for close combat with like the shotgun, the guns that'll get you effectively close up. And then you got the one between the middle range and the sniper with the gun that can hit you on target when need be. And that's why you use those red, like they're in this area. And we all know our places. But when you ain't got it simplified and you just going out there and you wonder why you don't win. Sometimes you can win. I went out there one time with 3 girls, and we all played our roles. We stayed together. One had the medical kit, and one was flying, and I had the zombies, but we stuck together. And when one got in trouble, we all helped each other. So when you fighting one, you have to fight all 4 pretty much at the same time. And you was getting bombed and shot and everything all at the same. You didn't last long. And we won. So keep it simple when it comes to combat. Understanding comes about through feeling. From moment to moment in the mirror of relationship. Understanding comes about through feeling. From moment to moment in the mirror of relationship. A mirror is something you reflect in. You see your double in. From moment to moment in the mirror of relationship. Interesting. Understanding oneself happens through a process of relationships and not through isolation. Understanding oneself, yourself, happens through a process of relationships with yourself and not through isolation. A process of relationships, understanding oneself happens through a process of relationships with yourself and others and not through isolation. So you cannot get a true understanding without relationships with others. So when you isolate yourself, you're not really getting the total understanding of yourself, let alone others. Interesting. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. So you cannot, I think that's why God made it with pairs, a woman and a female, and they're opposites, to bring out the best qualities of each other, let alone sometimes the worst qualities of one another, but it gives them a better understanding of who they are in totality. Interesting. But they want to take the man out the house or the woman out the house. Why? So you don't get to really understand who you are. Interesting. To understand the actual requires awareness and alert and total free mind. To understand the actual requires awareness. If you want actual facts, you have to require, it requires awareness and alert and total free mind. Things are consistently evolving. It's like, you know how you running to catch on a train? You have to have the actual calculation mathematics at all times to jump on that train without hurting yourself or falling down or killing yourself. To understand the actual requires awareness and alert and totally free mind. Effort within the mind further limits the mind because effort implies struggle towards a goal. And when you have a goal, a purpose, an end in view, you have placed a limit on the mind. Let me say that one again. Effort within the mind further limits the mind because effort implies struggle towards a goal. And when you have a goal, a purpose, an end in view, you have placed a limit on the mind. Man, that's something. So it's cool to know your purpose, but you must also go beyond your purpose to see the unlimitedness of your purpose. If your purpose stop with you, you may want to rethink that purpose. A purpose. Your purpose should surpass you. Your purpose should become immortalized. And this is on to know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. This is what we are. This evening, I see something totally new. And that newness is experienced by the mind. But tomorrow, that experience becomes mechanical if I try to repeat the sensation, the pleasure of it. The description is never real. What is real is seeing the truth instantaneously, because truth has no tomorrow. Interesting. Say that one again. This evening, I see something totally new. And that newness is experienced by the mind. But tomorrow, that experience becomes mechanical if I try to repeat the sensation, the pleasure of it. The description is never real. What is real is seeing the truth instantaneously, because truth has no tomorrow. I almost see that it's like sex. You want to experience that same pleasure with that same individual in the same way tomorrow. But it's not the same. We've all went through some more experiences and went through some more thoughts and things of that nature. So when you do have sex again with that individual, it should be a totally new experience. it should be on a whole nother level. You should be more understanding and aware of that individual, but yet it should be not totally the same. It should be free flowing. For truth has no tomorrow. When you try to make it the truth tomorrow, you get bored. It's not as exciting. Live truth for that time period and let truth flow. Okay? We shall find the truth when we examine the problem. The problem is never apart from the answer. The problem is the answer. Understanding the problem dissolves the problem. See, when you understand the problem and can come up with the solution for the problem, it dissolves the problem. So when you always talking about problems without solutions, or talking about individuals with problems or imperfections without solutions, you're not solving anything. You're not dissolving anything. You're being more of an instigator. You're just being an instigator. That's like two people fighting. Yeah, fight. But you're not solving the problem. You're not a problem solver in that magnitude. We shall find the truth when we examine the problem. The problem is never apart from the answer. The problem is the answer. Understanding the problem dissolves the problem. Okay, here we go. This one. Observe what is with undivided awareness. Observe what is with undivided awareness. Focus. Don't have your focus shift on two different things. When you really want to observe something, you have to focus it in with undivided awareness. Okay. Next. True thusness is without defiling thought. True thusness is without defiling thought. It cannot be known through conception and thought. Let's look up thusness. Well, okay, let's look up thus. Thus, as a result or consequence of this, therefore, in the manner now being indicated or exemplified in this way, to this point. So, observe, no, that's not the one. True to the pointness is without defiling thought. It cannot be known through conception and thought. Hmm. Remind me back when that's like when you're throwing darts and things of that nature. Let's keep going. Thinking is not freedom. And no, that's not Bruce Lee. But anyway, thinking, that is a type of Bruce Lee. Thinking is not freedom. All thought is partial. It can never be total. Thought is the response of memory. And memory is always partial because memory is the result of experience. So thought is the reaction of a mind conditioned by experience. Thinking is not freedom. Interesting. I'm just let that one be. Some of these Bruce Lee be saying, it really be pricking like, I really got to think about that one. Know the emptiness and tranquility of your mind. Be empty. Have no style or form for the opponent to work on. And these are on awareness has no frontier. It is a giving of your whole being without exclusion. Awareness has no frontier. It is a giving of your whole being without exclusion. Okay. Know the emptiness and tranquility of your mind. Be empty. Have no style or form for the opponent to work on. It's almost like I see the whole full galaxy and how everything is moving around. It has no style or form for the opponent to work on. Even though some things look as if they are happening the same, yet they are not the same on a more micro level. The mind is originally without activity. The way is always without thought. I guess that I'm thinking like breathing, and when something itches, you just scratch it, and things of that nature. Your eyes blinking. The mind is originally without activity. The way is always without thought. Okay. Insight is realizing that one's original nature is not created. Insight is realizing that one's original nature is not created. There will be calmness, tranquility when one is free from external objects and is not perturbed, being tranquil means not having any illusions or delusions of thusness. There is no thought, only thusness. What is? Thusness does not move, but its motion and function are inexhaustible. To meditate means to realize the imperturbability of one's original nature. Surely meditation can never be a process of concentration, because the highest form of thinking is negation. Negation is a state in which there is neither the positive nor its reaction as the negative. It is a state of complete emptiness. Concentration is a form of exclusion. And where there is exclusion, there is a thinker who excludes. It is the thinker, the excluder, the one who concentrates, who creates contradiction, because he forms a center from which there is distraction. There is a state of action without the actor, a state of experiencing without the experiencer or the experience. It is a state bound and weighed down by the classical mess. Got about 6 minutes left, so I'm going to roll through these. We'll do some more later. We're just getting started and warmed up. Classical concentration that focuses on one thing excludes all others. And awareness, which is total and excluding, and excludes nothing, are states of the mind that can be understood only by objective, non-prejudiced observation. Awareness has no frontier. It is a giving of your whole being without exclusion. And with that, family, we're going to pause till next time. And before we go, see here. We're going to check out Master Bruce Lee. If you have never seen Bruce Lee before, give you the opportunity to see him in action.
I'm warning you.
Hey, oğlum, stop bak.
Hold up just a second. Let's get to it. I want y'all to really see how Bruce Lee perfects himself and things. He's never perfect, but he's always perfecting himself. He's mastering himself, which displays to the world as like, wow. But if they was to do the same thing, and some people are, and a lot of people are in their own ways, not just on the physical level. Let's check it out.
Of yourself.
Playoff. He's a legend for a reason. Welcome to WatchMojo.com. Today we'll be counting down the top 10 Bruce Lee moments. Number 10, Ice Factory, The Big Boss.
That was a good one.
Kicking off our list is the scene in which Lee's character is ambushed and outnumbered in an ice factory. Though unarmed, his attackers soon learn that they made a big mistake when he starts improvising.
See, he improvised for the moment. This was a good one. I've seen this one.
One of the poor saps even gets thrown through a wall, Roadrunner style. Seriously, with all those ice picks lying around, is this not the worst place to pick a fight with Bruce Lee? Number 9, Nunchuck Fight, Way of the Dragon. Chinese.
I've seen this one too. This was good. Oh, I think I've seen all Bruce Lee movies 20, 50 times. No telling.
Kung Fu. In this flick, Lee is sent to Rome to help his family fight the local mafia.
Oh, that's rippling muscles.
When he's taken into a back alley to be rubbed out, Lee quickly turns the tide. Interestingly, the bad guys regroup and are laughably ordered to kill him without using their guns.
Go and get him, but no guns.
This allows Lee to pull 2 sets of nunchucks out of nowhere.
And yep, I have got to the point I'm mastering not just one nunchuck, but 2. I just don't have the time to practice as much as possible, but it don't take long for me to get it back on to the point where I'm flipping both of them at the same time doing stuff.
Get him.
And whoop the thugs good and proper. Now, for real though, where did you get those? Number 8, upgrades.
I done got to the point I can do the nunchucks blindfolded. So, like I said, totally always mastering. You never perfect it, but you're always perfecting.
Enter the Dragon. When Lee finds his way into the villain's top secret underground lair, he is forced to get topless and take out the countless henchmen in his path. This fight keeps intensifying as he upgrades his weapons with every defeated opponent.
I wasn't trying to be on at the moment because I ain't even dressed. But I don't know how to get my avatar. We're gonna call it a wrap after you watch a little bit more of this. Well, I don't even know if you can hear it, so I'm gonna just end it. Till next time. Flipping this stuff around ain't good yet. Till next time, keep your heads up, stay focused, and read. Peace.